the pure side and the bright side of this character.
A favourite teacher, you know, is how Harry describes Lupin, and indeed J.K. Rowling describes where Lupin comes from for her. And so I sort of look back at some of my favourite teachers when I was back at school, my English teacher, my drama teacher, my art teacher, who took me under their wing. In The Prisoner of Azkaban, most of my scenes are with just Dan. The nice thing I found was that he's a remarkably wonderful boy, now young man, and so it wasn't difficult at all to feel affection for him and to feel protective of him.
Ridiculous!
Emotionally, it was never a kid hanging with a werewolf. It was this kid hanging with his favorite uncle who has this disease. You know what I mean? It was always finding the reference in the universe that we know.
Well done, Harry. Well done. Professor Trelawney.
Another new character introduced in Azkaban. Professor Trelawney and Emma Thompson agreed to do the character.
Tonight, he who betrayed his friends, whose heart rots with murder, shall break free.
I thought about the character, and it was just the first thing that occurred to me was, if she's always going, look beyond, if you're always looking beyond, then you can't see what's there. So I thought, if she hasn't looked at herself, she can't see herself, then she must look all sort of undone and not at all well put together. I did have buttons here once, but I don't know where they are. They've gone.
She took the character of Trelawney, and what she did was so great. Says, yes, in the book, she whispers all the time. It says, I don't know if we're going to achieve necessarily cinematically what is in the book just by whispering. And so she started doing this balance of whispering and screaming.
Crystal gazing requires that you clear the inner eye.
Emma Thompson became like the big teacher for Emma Watson.
Maybe young in years, but the heart that beats beneath your bosom is as shriveled as an old maid's.
Little Emma, she was at awe that she was going to work with Emma Thompson. She thought she was going to meet this very aloof genius. And what she received was this person who was just trying for everybody to have a good experience while we were working together.
I loved Emma Thompson. She treated everyone with exactly the same level of respect. And if I keep acting, which I hope that I will, I hope that I would be how she is as an actress.
I do wish I was with you until Christmas. But it's been gorgeous. Thank you so much. It's been such an honour. I've loved it. I have.
Between the third and the fourth, there was more of a break. You know, there was a much more substantial time off. It was just great to be back here with everyone who I've got to know so well after the last few films.
It's kind of like we were back for a new term at Hogwarts, literally.
But I always get quite nervous when you sort of find out it's going to be a new director, because you spend a long time with them, so you get quite close, and it's quite nerve-wracking to see what sort of person it's going to be.
Now, would you listen to me, please? There is no point in any of us being here unless you are good. And every one of you has got to show with their face, with their body language, with everything literally, that it is unbelievably dangerous. It's not just thinking about Harry Potter. We all know Harry Potter's not for kids, right? Well, not this one.
Mike Newell has a real professorial quality and was very much a taskmaster and encouraging them to capture the essence of the characters they're playing.
Mike Newell's such a big personality. He's so British.
It was so loud and, like, if he said something, everybody would shut up.
It's about how you pay attention. It's about how jumpy you are. It's about how you respond. When he shouts at you!
It's really sort of quite scary sometimes.
They don't know me, they don't know what I want, they just know that they have been told to sit up straight and fold their hands in their laps and pay attention.
Action!
Stay away from me. Fine.
You would say something to them and they would say, yes, sir, thank you, sir, very good, sir, yes, sir. And you'd think that's not it at all. There were these two called the twins, who are brothers to Rupert.
Yeah, Jamie's this side? Right, okay, Jamie, you go first. Am I looking at the right bloke?
I still can't remember which way round they are, but they're heavenly boys.
Here we go, lots of juice, everybody.
And I'd staged a little bit of action in the corner where they started a kind of sort of pushing fight, which I then wanted to ignite into something more serious. They did a very sort of stiff. I said, no, come on. You know it's not like that.
Cut! Cut it! Cut.
He comes over and looks over the top and he goes, right, which one of you two wants to fight?
Okay, who wants to fight?
Like a fool, I said, yes, okay, I will.
On came one of them, I don't remember which one. With me trying to bang his end on the stones and him trying to bang my head on the stones.
And he starts like throwing me around, so I thought, okay, I'll throw him around.
The rest of the children couldn't believe what they were seeing. His director is rolling on the floor with so-and-so.
One of the crew had left something on the floor, and as I threw him onto it, it turned out he bruised or cracked his rib or something like that.
So I had to be helped up off the floor like the old man that I was. And of course they found the whole performance absolutely hysterical. And I, at that point, stepped over a line with them, and they kind of knew I was all right.
He let it all go and made it really unintense, unrestricted, which helped us immensely. He really had the characters going totally different to what we'd done before.
The Goblet of Fire allowed us to expand beyond the walls of Hogwarts. We just were able to see that the wizarding world was a much bigger world than we'd been accustomed to.
Please greet the proud sons of Durmstrang.
And the Barbatons both have much better opening chance than us, and I'm pissed off about this. Stan, you're a Durmstrang. Would you not agree that your blokes have got and the Barbatons have got a much better entrance?
We met the Durmstrangs, the Beaubatons, who were quite exotic by comparison to our sort of English public school.
They come in doing martial arts, and ours is the Hogwarts, Hogwarts, teach us something, please.
Hogwarts, Hogwarts, teach us something, please. Hogwarts, Hogwarts, teach us something, please.
So we bid you truly welcome. You are a funny lot.
We now have our 3 champions.
I'm Clémence Poésie, playing Fleur de la Cour in Harry Potter. In a way, she is what English think a French girl would be. I mean, she's very chic and very, Miss Perfect all the time.
Victor Krum is the Bulgarian seeker. He's described as more of a physical being rather than talkative.
Cedric was just already a pretty fully written character. He's a pretty significant part of the book. He's quite competitive, but he plays fair and he sticks to the rules like he should.
So who's the standing right next to you?
Come on, get my name right.
I don't know, I think it's just Ron.
What's my name?
You look at the script, I think it's just Ron.
Doesn't know my name. What's my name, Rob? What's my name? What's my name?
That's that one.
Hi, Kerry.
That's that one. This is plain rude.
On Christmas Eve night, we and our guests gather in the Great Hall for a night of well-mannered frivolity.
Harry falls completely in love with Cho Chang and asks her to the ball, and she's already got a date. That's what I like about Harry, is he's pathetic at the whole romance thing. He's rubbish. He's no good with girls, he's no good with dating, he doesn't know how to be around girls. I'm actually a really fantastic dancer, but because Harry's not very good, I felt I should play it down.
Ron's changed a bit. Like, he's a bit more mature now. He's got a bit more comfortable around girls and that, which is quite fun to do.
Now, don't swing your arms, okay? What's happening is that you're coming on as a perfectly normally dressed girl and you're not, okay?
I was so nervous about the whole thing, because it's meant to be such a big moment.
No, it's lovely.
I got down about 3 steps and fell down in front of the whole set, which was incredibly embarrassing. People barely recognise her. People are saying, is that really Hermione Granger? Is that her? It's about, again, as usual, her feelings for Ron, which were underneath the surface.
The whole point of the tournament is magical international cooperation. To make friends on ice cream.
Ron, he went through quite a hard time in that.
I think he's got a bit more than friendship on his mind.
There was a lot of jealousy going on and he wasn't in a good place at the ball.
Are you going to ask me to dance or not?
No.
Alistair Moody, ex-Auror, Ministry malcontent, and your new defence against the dark arts teacher!
You know, Mad Eye's his own man, and when it comes down to it, he's a gunslinger with a wand. What appealed to me about him was the fact that he reminded me of some of the teachers of the old school.
You need to know what you're up against. You need to be prepared.
That whole notion of tough love and all that kind of thing.
Brendan Gleeson has a real challenge in this to play a man who is not who he seems to be.
And Brendan goes into such tiny, specific detail when he's making the character. He developed this wonderful shiver.
They say I'm mad.
Which, as soon as he'd had a pull on his flask, which everybody thought was booze, there would be this kind of as it gets it up to the nerve ends.
What was it like? What was he like?
Who?
The Dark Lord.
Shh. Don't say his name.
You know who. Do not speak his name. You know who.
Whiter than a skull, with wide, livid, scarlet eyes.
Voldemort had been talked about for so long, and the build-up to Voldemort arriving in the books is just immense.
And a nose that was flat as a snake,